Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you very much for joining me here. I hope you're having a phenomenal day. Let's take another look at Solana, see what's going on. This cup and handle, this is a head and shoulders pattern, is effectively playing out here. So far, so good. It's very premature, very early, but the concept here is that we're retesting this local high as a potential support, but I do feel like Bitcoin could continue to break down, and if so, I think Solana should fill its CME gap and or return to its lower support range. If so, I'd be more than happy to take along in those areas. Those are areas I've been talking to my community about for entry for honestly last 3 or 4 days, ever since the price shot right straight through that resistance and hasn't looked back. So it's common to see a bullish backtest of local highs and new lows. So that's kind of what I've been waiting for. So to those of you who have been patient in my community waiting for good signals, I appreciate that. It's just kind of the way the market is right now. It's better not to FOMO into the top. While a lot of coins did run pretty hard the last 24 to 48 hours, and everyone's like, oh, we missed so much opportunity. The truth is, you're better to miss an opportunity like that than to take a bad / forced trade, okay? Because once more, Bitcoin is kind of sort of faking us out, or maybe not. We don't truly know, but it's always best to be on the safe side because we've seen probably like 14 out of 16 last weekends this year have all been sell-off, red, tons of selling pressure. So just be mindful. We're heading into a weekend. We have liquidation below the price action. It's pretty safe to presume the price should continue lower. Okay, try not to be super naive and try to be one of those moon boys on a weekend. It's statistically unfavorable. Okay. All right. Hit the like button before we get going. If you are a moon boy, maybe you're not, comment below. Let's hear about it. What's your position on Solana too? Love to hear that as well. Let's take a quick look here. We can see 147 to 145 is that macro / local area of support / liquidation. Keep in mind, liquidation accumulates at support. So you got to recognize that it's kind of more so the effect, not the cause, but we can see here that there's definitely a lot down as low as about 141 is a rough estimate. So 141 would make sense. That would essentially just create a lower low and essentially wipe out those late longs. Okay, that's kind of the concept. Either way, we have a lot more liquidation between 130 and 135. I think it's a much lower probability we see that range just because there's so much support with our local high in the low 140s that I feel like we're going to see some bouncing in that range. If we can kind of see here, we can see liquidation deltas kind of up and down, but mostly bullish. This basically implies you don't really want to short this coin, which is exactly why I haven't been opening a ton of shorts, even though I expect this weekend to pull back. It's probably best to err on the side of caution because most coins are tentatively bullish. We're in these really this unique transitional state right now. You gotta be kind of careful not to take late longs and not to be an early short. It's a difficult market to navigate, but the overall consensus is that most things are bullish. So you will have more luck going up than down. I just feel like the bill's finally coming due and it's a weekend and we're more likely to see the price pull back. Liquidation delta, we already talked about that. We can see open interest. This is open interest here, letting us know we're at our last line of support. Essentially 148 is that last area. And then we have a bit of a gap, and then 140 to 143. This is where I think we're going to see a lot of support. So that's kind of my interested area of consideration for long is 138 to 143. Okay, right in that range of open interest. I like to trade into open interest areas because they're generally supports and resistances. Daily time frame hasn't changed much. We're still very bullish. There's no hidden divergence per se. You could argue that stochastic swinging down for the third time, and that does carry a lot more weight. So the truth is we're probably more likely to go down here in the immediate future, not just based on this being a weekend, but also that cause and effect of what goes up must come down. We can see money flow indexes above the RSI. These are all very positive signs. So we have, yes, an early indication of a shift in momentum, but it's nothing to super totally read into that we're going to go to the ground floor, right? It's not going to be a tremendous amount of selling pressure unless Bitcoin really starts to run. That's the only thing that would cause a lot of these altcoins to kind of pull back aggressively is if Bitcoin were to do the same thing. If Bitcoin just keeps on bleeding out, just say to like 92, 91, 90,000, which I kind of hope happens, honestly, then I think majority of these stronger altcoins are going to go sideways and get ready to take off. And that's where I'm looking to take a trade. It just doesn't feel right to take a long position, not right now. Neither did it yesterday when everything was pretty much on fire. It sounds crazy and weird, but as a conservative trader, I don't really like to trade into these they're like these euphoric waves, if you will, where everyone's just throwing money into the market. Those are not really things that I like to trade into. So give you a little insight on where I'm thinking. That's all. It's not like it's right or wrong. It's just my strategy. All that being said, we do have a divergence here in a sense on the 4-hour time frame. RSI is getting closer to 50. While we're above support, that's good. We're also below our moving average, and the money flow index is kind of hanging out right there in that range. It shows a little bit of weakness here. MACD is also diverging, and stochastic is too. And then we look at the hourly. This is going to give us confirmation that we're finally below the cloud, basically implying that a short position may be a viable option. Okay. Now, I don't necessarily recommend shorting at this point, but statistically, it's a weekend. The price action has shifted momentum. There's a lot of reasons why taking a short may be advantageous. I don't like to short this coin specifically, but just say we get back up to this 152 range and Bitcoin is still bearishly diverging, then that may be a good consideration for a short. Or even right here at about 151, that is essentially the local point of control. Those are all areas I'm considering a short position. So what we can do is I'll just go ahead and add an alert there. And if I get triggered later, I'll go ahead and double check and see if it's worthwhile. But at this point, no trade is the best trade, folks. That's kind of the common narrative on a weekend. That's what it should be. Most professional traders are not trading weekends. They're enjoying time with their family because they worked all week, right? I'm only here on a Saturday because I want to make sure to help out because I get a lot of questions on the weekends, and it's my time to help get you on track and maybe talk some sense into you and talk you off the ledge of being an emotional idiot. Cool. All right, folks, thanks again so much for watching. Make sure you join us over at Bitunix too. Awesome exchange, excellent rewards. You use my link to register. More importantly too, join us on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. I've got a lot of good content here rolling out where, just kind of keeping you in the know, right? I've gotten some good feedback there. You can always reward me by hitting the like button on every single video you watch. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.